What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego back with some more boxing. Holy fucking shit. Great night of boxing. We had a lot of great matches. I haven't seen all of the fights in its entirety. As you guys know, HBO and Showtime decided to go heads up and compete with one another. So they were running concurrently. Um, some matches were getting kind of boring, so I was flipping back. So I got to watch everything once over in its entirety. I did see most of the fights. Um, but I want to spend some time in this video and talk about the James Kirkland and Glen Tapia fight. My God, this was an all-out war, battle of attrition. I was thoroughly excited with this fight. It was really entertaining from the onslaught, from the opening bell. Glen Tapia, he came out really sharp, really fresh, put a lot of pressure. He was trying to make good on all the things he said leading up to the fight, that he was gonna hurt James Kirkland, and he came out with the right game plan. Honestly, James Kirkland, being a fighter who's had issues with just being a stable person, James Kirkland, who's had issues firing Ann Wolf and then rehiring her. Um, Plus, anytime you got a guy who has had a long layoff and they have the potential to be rusty, what do? You overwhelm them, make them uncomfortable, kind of dictate the pace, go to the body. Those are all things you can do to sway the fight in your way. And Glen Tapia, he started off fresh, like I said, and started doing that. Then James Kirkland refused to quit. He refused to back down. He really took this as a statement fight. He had a inexperienced fighter, a young fighter, and he was just too much for him. Maybe down the road somewhere, it would have been more competitive through the entirety. Um, Tapia is a big dude, so it took a while to break him down, I guess you could say. He's if you look at him, he looks really big and built, muscular, and it took a minute. But James Kirkland started zeroing in and just landing shots at will. He was hitting Tapia with a left hook, a right hook. He was going upstairs, going downstairs. His body attack was vicious. Every time he had him on the ropes in the mid to late rounds, it spelled problems, and it was just too much. It was a battle of attrition, and he just wore him down. Um, there were spots where Glen Tapia showed some explosiveness and was fighting back. Then it got to, I think, maybe round 5, and he was just getting mopped. It was just starting. The inexperience was starting to show, and I don't know, because he looked so good in the first round. I don't know if Glen Tapia, if it was his inexperience, and he shot his whole wad in the first round trying to knock James Kirkland out, or if it was the relentlessness of James Kirkland, or if it was a combination of both. It probably was a combination of both. But great performance by James Kirkland. He just would not take no for an answer. Very entertaining fight. Definitely put that in the Fight of the Year candidate. I would definitely put that as a nominee for Fight of the Year. Um, just an entertaining, all-out fight. It was actually better than both of the main events for different reasons, and I'll talk about that in other videos. Both HBO and Showtime. To me, I thought that fight was more entertaining than the main events on both networks. So great comeback fight for James Kirkland. He didn't look ring rusty, and Wolf really has him right. I think that's a relationship, that's a chemistry that works. So James Kirkland hopefully just comes back stable, works the bugs out. He's with SMS Promotions and 50 Cent, I believe, now. Really looking forward to the future for James Kirkland. He's always been an entertaining, exciting fighter. His fight with Angulo, um, James Kirkland, I've always liked him as a fighter. At one point, they were talking about having him fight Canelo, and I must say, I would definitely love to see that fight take place. Probably even more than like a Cotto versus Canelo, because I think there's other options for Cotto. I do want to see Cotto and Canelo. Don't get me wrong; that'd be a pay-per-view blockbuster. But um, I still have questions on Canelo. I want to see how he does if he's in there with someone who's possibly a bigger puncher than him. If you look at Canelo's recent opponents, Josecito Lopez clearly wasn't a bigger puncher than him. Mayweather's a small guy at welterweight, so I wouldn't say Mayweather's a bigger puncher than Canelo's big ass. Um, Canelo and Austin Trout. Canelo showed you who was the bigger puncher in that fight by hurting Trout. So I would be anxious to see how he does with someone as relentless, um, and a big boxer puncher who, again, if James Kirkland looks like that, was mixing up his punches upstairs, downstairs, hooking. That'd be interesting. I want to see. I don't know. I can't recall a fight where somebody really made Canelo uncomfortable, if you will, like for a long period of time. And like I said, in this fight, James Kirkland was cutting off the ring, and you got to give Kirkland props because even though he was inexperienced, Glen Tapia, like I said, he's a big motherfucker. Like that dude is big. You could just see it in his frame, and he had to work for that. So at any given moment, if Tapia was just eating shots and he didn't have the proper conditioning, Tapia probably could have, in fact, stopped James Kirkland because James Kirkland was stopped by Ishida, who has no punching power. So if the right James Kirkland didn't show up, and the wrong one showed up, it could have spelled problems. But I would really love to see a Canelo fight with James Kirkland. Like I said, they talked about in the past. It's a fight that's logical. I think it can happen. Golden Boy and SMS Promotions. I think they can possibly make that happen if they want to sweeten the deal. Bring Kirkland back against Carlos Molina. Carlos Molina currently has a belt from Ishe Smith. Get Kirkland in a title holder position, and then have Canelo face Kirkland for the title, or something like that, or string up some wins. Canelo fights Carlos Molina, and then Kirkland faces Canelo for the belt, something like that. I think that would be awesome, and I'd be anxious to see how Canelo adjusts and how good his boxing skills really are against someone who's relentless. Because in this fight, um, Kirkland was just absolutely a tank. He was relentless. Like I said, cutting off the ring very well on Glen Tapia. And trust me, I'm a realist. I put it in perspective. I've never even seen Glen Tapia fight, so I don't really know much of him like that. But just based on what I've seen, he seems like a tough contender. So I put everything into perspective. I'm not saying James Kirkland just knocked out a Klitschko or anything crazy like that. This guy obviously hadn't had that big fight yet. So it is what it is, but it was still an awesome performance by Kirkland. Let me know what you guys think of that fight, James Kirkland versus Glen Tapia. It ended in a 6-round TKO stoppage. Let me know what you guys think. Do you want to see a Canelo fight in the future? Who do you want to see James Kirkland fight? Leave a comment. Let me know what you guys think. As always, hate, comment, or subscribe. Till next video, it's Ego signing off.